Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Zachary the Firefly Remedy bringing you a hardcore TDM gameplay yet again, but this time on the map Frontier. Now, Frontier is quite different compared to other maps, and I think it is the smallest map on the game. But regardless, overall, I'd say it's my favorite map, and I'm going to tell you why. And in this video, I'm going to break down the Karma 45, which is the submachine gun that I'm using, and how to rush. Now, in my last video, because this video is on the topic that it is, it may seem like I'm contradicting myself and going against what I said to do. Now, this map is an exception, and there may be a map or two that you could also find an exception in, but in this gameplay, I was rushing, and I don't typically like to rush in this game because you get screwed over a lot, the spawns are wonky, but I'll get into all of that. Now, first off, the Karma 45 is a submachine gun that probably isn't the favorite for many people, but for me, I'd say it's my favorite, and I'm going to tell you why. So, it has probably the highest rate of fire. I say probably because I don't know these stats for sure, but there are some that I know, like the fact that it has a dual mag reload built into it. Now, the Karma 45 has actually quite a long reload time, which isn't too bad considering you have the dual mag every other reload, so it makes up for it. The actual reload time takes about a little under 3 seconds, which can be kind of rough depending on the situation you're in, but you could say the same for any gun, really. It all depends on the situation. Now, for rushing, well, let me tell you the rest of my class. I'm not using suppressor on it, which is just a complete mess up of mine. I was gonna use it, but I guess I was just screwing around with other things, testing them out. So I have the grip, quick draw, extended mags, and red dot. If I had to tell you to get rid of one to put on suppressor, I would say get rid of grip. It's not really necessary, and plus you're gonna be hip firing a lot around these corners if you find it necessary. Okay, so to rush, I said don't rush, but on this map, once again, it is an exception whether you're playing core or hardcore. Now, use the thruster packs. That is my biggest point. Use the thruster packs and slide. Throughout this game and any gameplay that I play now, started doing this in Black Ops 3, I use every wall that I find, really. Virtually every single wall, even if it's not really necessary. Now, I see a lot of people just using the thruster packs to do things that are necessary. I use it for things that really aren't that necessary, just preparing to catch the enemy off guard. If you're running on a wall and you jump down and slide or do something really crazy, it usually catches the enemy off guard. Now, it doesn't work every time, but it's gonna help you in the slightest, and maybe even more than the slightest, but overall, it does you more harm. It does you more good than harm. So use the damn thruster packs. Okay, now, if you're going to be rushing, use low score streaks. I'm talking like UAV and counter UAV, because not only will these help you figure out where the enemies are on the map, and it'll help you with a couple other things, which I'll touch on in a second, it will also help your teammates do well. And what do I keep saying? If your teammates are doing well, you're going to do well, at least most of the time. And I take that over your enemies playing poorly, and anytime. Okay, so like I said, teammates need to be doing well. Also, know when to leave a battle. If you run around a corner and you're using something like the Karma 45, which obviously doesn't have perfect accuracy, know when to run away. A lot of people will just walk around a corner, they'll see a guy and be like, okay, screw it, I'm just going to shoot at this guy and hope for the best. If you want to do well, sometimes you gotta take your loss. Don't go for the risk of whether you're gonna get the kill or not. Just get out of there. Try and flank him. Work your way around corridors like this, where you know that you'll have a better chance of outgunning a guy. Especially because something like the Karma 45 has a very nice high rate of fire compared to most people's guns that they're using, whether they be assault rifles or whatever. Okay, and learning the maps and the spawns is also a big point that I'd like to make. Now, at this point, the game's been out for a few days, so you should probably, if you've been playing for at least a few hours, you should know most of the maps and how they work, how they're laid out, and you should also know the spawns a bit better. Now, in this game, the spawns are kind of, I would say, broken. I'm still getting very terrible spawns. I'm spawning with enemies are spawning with me, the whole shebang, and it gets quite annoying. There's nothing really you can do about that. But if you can kind of predict where they're going to be, if you know where the spawn points are, you can work your way to like the side or around the map to get to an area where you have an advantage over them, whether it be a head glitch, behind a table, or something of that sort. You get the idea. And it's also well to, what was I going to say here? Yeah, pay attention to your teammates on the map. If you know where your teammates are, it helps you so much because it goes hand in hand with knowing where the enemies are going to spawn. Now, like I said, the spawning in this game is really messed up, so it's not going to work 100% of the time. Enemies are still going to spawn with you every now and again. But for the most part, if the game works properly, if the algorithm is correct, I should say, if your teammates are on one side of the map, you should be able to understand or realize that the enemies are going to be on the direct opposite side of the map, and you can work your way over to that point from where you are. It's kind of like a little game. I mean, the game is a game, but I don't really know how to put it into words. It's interesting. It really is. So it's like a math problem. You just map them out and figure out where they would be, and I don't know what I'm saying at this point. Just find the layouts of the map, and I will catch you all later. Bye.